Leads. I just need more leads. If I had more leads, I'd be able to scale the business. If I had more leads, I'd be able to get off the tools. If I had more leads, I would be able to make more profit. Guys, I want to go through today exactly how to get more leads as an electrician. But before I do, unfortunately, too many Sparkies fall in the trap of thinking they need more leads and more leads will magically fix their issues. However, and I know you guys are going to hate to hear it, I know, but more leads doesn't mean more money. More trucks doesn't mean more money. I'll repeat this, right? Because too often I jump on calls and everyone just says, I just need leads. And they've convinced themselves that more work will solve all of their issues. So, guys, to repeat, more leads does not mean more money, and more trucks does not mean more money. So, what I want to get with that is, and I fell into this trap when I first started out. So, when I first started out, I was doing a lot of construction and I was working for nonstop builders. And I'm talking high end, award winning builders, right? Developers as well. And what happened was, was working nonstop, staying on site, obviously experienced all the unpaid variations, low margins, all the headaches that you get with new construction. And that's why I'm not anti builders, but like I said to everyone in the program, you guys do you. I'm never going to force anything down anyone's throat, but you bolt on the system as much as you see fit. But we're very service focused. And the reason for it is in the service industry, you've got higher margins. It goes 0 to 100 really quick, and you can actually see predictable leads, sales, and profits each and every day. You're not going to have like the headaches of not getting paid, liquidating, and all that sort of stuff, right? And not being if you can't pay yourself a predictable wage each and every week, that's a bit of a red flag for your business, right? So you don't want anyone to have you by the balls, particularly general contractors and builders and things like that. So what I want to say is a lot of people that I speak to, and they convince themselves they need more leads. And I fell into that trap as well because I just thought, I was working nonstop, staying back 14-hour days. It was normal. And then I was like, oh, but there's still not enough money. Like we're doing all right. And you might be doing all right because you're on the field yourself and you are roughing in cables, you're feeding off, and you're a hard worker. No one's going to work as hard as you, right, in your business. So you might be doing good. You might be having some money coming in, but it's not the money that you set out to make and the freedom you set out to make when you started a business, right? So then you go, all right, well, I've gotten this far and I've made X amount of dollars, and then you're like, well, how can I make more? Light bulb moment, more, you know what I mean? So increased leads, that will do it. If I had more builds and more, builders and things like that, they'll fix my issues. And I fell into this trap. And then what I found was we were taking on everything. Anything that had a pulse, we would do. If it was a mom and dad customer, we had aquatic centers, we had, commercial builders, office fit outs, we had high-end boutique award-winning builders, all of that, right? And we thought, just get more of everything, and away you go. And that will solve the issues. And what it found was as we were scaling up and got more guys and they were completing all this work, the only reason we were making money was because we had such a strong service side. So in our construction side, right, it felt like we were making money. It felt like we were really, really busy. And the reason for that was we were working all hard on the site. We had pizza parties of a nighttime a lot of the time with my staff. And yeah, I was working nonstop and I've obviously felt the, unpaid variations, the cash flow issues and all of that. And not all the money came through when we're working for builders. So when not all the money comes through, all the shortfall came, the service side was so strong and so profitable that we didn't even notice that we weren't profitable on the construction side. It wasn't until I slowed down, really looked at our P&L, looked at our numbers, I found that, well, in actual fact, I didn't need more leads. I need to cut off the construction side and focus on service, right? Because you can charge a lot more. But that's not what this is about. This is about leads today. So we're not going to go about how good the service side is, but we're going to talk about more leads. And, a lot of contractors, when they're looking for more leads and stuff like that, they get arrogant. I don't know what it is, but they jump in their truck and they say, I'm the director of this business. Work's going to come to me. Nuh-uh. That's not how it works. Guys, think of it like this. It's the same as if you're a lawyer, right? Everyone automatically assumes lawyers make a lot of money, right? But if the lawyer has no customers, they're not making money. It's the same in your electrical business, right? Sparkies do make money. But if they don't have any customers, they don't know how to convert those estimates into paying jobs. Again, you're not making money. So there's only three ways to make more money in your electrical business, and that is increase leads, increase sales, and increase the frequency of your customers coming back to you. So that's your return customer rate. And I don't want people to get arrogant and be like, I'm too good to advertise. Or they say things like, you know, I'm, work comes to me. Like I spoke to a bloke the other day and he goes, well, my buddy said to me, if you're advertising, you're doing it wrong. Because my mate's never advertised and he's been in business for 30 years. And as we're continuing the conversation, we found out that his mate was, he's been in the industry for 20 plus years, but he's broke. Like he's like, and I'll say it like this, guys, right? Because we're here to help out Sparkies, but the reality is, if you've been in the game for 10, 20 years and you're doing 20K a month per truck, that's a big red flag. Okay. And the reason why that's a red flag is you're now not an employee. You're now a director. So you should be really paying yourself 20K a month as a salary. But if you're turning, and I know that's going to frustrate a lot of people when they hear that, but this is just the reality. We want to help you and make sure that you're progressing in your electrical business, right? But if you're turning over $20,000, well, then you're not making $20,000, right? It's what's left over, not what's turned over. So pricing for profit and knowing your numbers is super important, because if you're a director and of an electrical business and you cannot pay yourself that, I know you're probably thinking in your head, oh, if I just change, I know it's the male in us, it's the technician in us, it's the business owner in us thinks we can solve it. They go, if I just fix this and if I just fix that, it'll be perfect. I'll make a few tweaks and it'll get better. 1 month goes past, another month goes past, another month goes past. We're halfway through the year now, and unfortunately, you're in the same position when you could have invested in, training and things like that to sort of progress it. But that's not what this is about. This is about getting leads. So let's talk about leads. So to the Sparkies out there that are thinking they're too cool to advertise, they're too cool to chase for work, they're too cool to market. Well, let me tell you something. And they say, oh, but I've never advertised in my life. I work off word of mouth. Word of mouth is the icing on the cake. It's not the whole cake. You must be able to generate leads predictably. Word of mouth, and if you're looking to scale a business of word of mouth, I don't know if you're not, that scares me. I don't know if that doesn't scare you, that it's not a strategy. Like I said, it's a bonus, right? We need to have predictable leads coming in each and every day to your business. But before we get into leads, we want to make sure that you're not growing broke as well, right? So we want to make sure that, and everyone that sort of gets access to the program, things like that, everyone gets full access to all the training straight away. So all the lead gen, all the sales, all the pricing, all the scaling strategies, everything straight away. So what I say to everyone is, you're the boss. So you do as you see fit, because you get full access to everything straight away, but do it in order first. And the reason why I say that is it's designed to be done in order, because we want to make sure that you've got the pricing. Rule number one in business is to sell it for more than you can buy it for. And if you can't tell me how much you can buy your service for, that's a red flag, because your own business, right? So you must know what your break even is. So rule number one is to go through the pricing, then sales. And what I want to touch on with sales is, a lot of guys are out there like, oh, but I can sell ice to an Eskimo. I go, all right. So how many jobs did you go to last week and how many did you sell? And guys, sales is a numbers game. I hate to be that dude, but it is a numbers game. Like are there electricians right now hitting over $70,000 a month? Absolutely. Are they working standard operating hours? Absolutely. Are they doing no overtime? Absolutely. So if you're at, say, 20K a month, right? Or 10, it doesn't matter where you're at. Let's just say you're at 20, 30, doesn't matter. If you're at 20K, but there are Sparkies hitting $70,000 a month with one truck, right? There's all the numbers I spit out are always with one truck. That's a $50,000 gap that you got to close. And I'm not saying you got to just go straight away. You got to hit that 70,000 or you're nothing. That's not what I'm saying at all. But shouldn't we like help bridge that gap? Like if someone's at 70 and you're at 20, maybe they know something that you don't. Maybe. You know, so we want to bridge that and make sure that all Sparkies are winning and are succeeding, right? Because 99% of the time when people say they need more leads, they don't know how to convert jobs and they're not priced properly. They're charging $100 an hour or something like that, which does not work, unfortunately. But what I want to go at with that is if you're currently, right, like put it like this. If I put it simply, I can't sing. So if I plug my voice into a microphone, more people are going to hear me, but I'm still going to have a shit voice. This is the same with marketing. If I spend money on marketing and advertising, I'm going to reach more people. I'm going to reach more customers. Yes, absolutely. But if I'm not priced correctly, if I'm not, if I don't know how to sell or close the customer on the spot, then my business is still shit. This is my point. Will more leads help you? But without further ado, let's go into some sort of, let's see how we can get some leads going if you're an electrical business owner, right? So guys, if you do have your pricing on point, and I'm going to tell you this right now, and you might not like it, but if you are charging $110 an hour, you won't be able to afford paid marketing, right? And you guys probably get, calls all the time from marketing agencies and things like that saying, we'll get you more leads, and we'll get you the number one spot on Google and all of that. But the reality is, in order to get to that number one spot on Google, you need to invest money. Yes. And a lot of contractors, unfortunately, are in this employee mindset where they're just like, no, I can't, spend that $1,000 or $2,000, whatever it might be on marketing, when they fail to realize, like, guys, marketing is all a game of ROI. So if I spend $1,000 here but get $5,000 back, that's a good deal, right? It's the same with what we train with all of our members, right? There are some strategies in marketing where you put $1,000 in, it will return you $50,000 back. So it becomes a bit of a no-brainer in that spot. But to get started, to get leads, you got to have a plan in place, okay? And with that plan, you got to go, well, how many leads do I actually need to be profitable, right? That's the thing, because a lot of people just go, I just need more leads. And it's like, okay, but how many? I don't know, I just need more. Well, I know of companies that need, 10 leads a day. I know companies that need 100 leads a day. I know companies that need 500 leads a day. Okay. So how many leads do you actually need for you to sustain your business, or how many leads do you need to fuel the growth of your business? Because lead gen can be both to, sprinkle a bit of a kick and boost in sales, or it could be used as a main driver to then produce future growth as well, right? And you got to go in the plan. Okay, so step one is how many leads, who is my ideal client? Who do I want to service each and every day? Then how many leads do I need? Then from there, you reverse engineer, well, where we're going to allocate some funds. And marketing doesn't need to be paid, which I'm going to go through right now. So basically, to get more leads, a few things we can look at, right? Besides the obvious, like Facebook groups, they're free, right? So a few things for the guys that are maybe low on a budget right now, and they might not have the budget for, proper paid methods and things like that. Some good things, some free things that you can do is, of course, Facebook groups work absolutely well. Local Facebook groups. Guys, with all of this, make sure you have a call to action. Don't make it too salesy. A lot of guys are like, here, $50 off downlights, or $10 off this and whatnot, or buy one, get one free. No one wants to be seeing salesy stuff from their local electrician, right? So make it a personal post, and then, of course, have a CTA, which is a call to action, right? So that can prompt them to make that call, right? Another thing you can do is with free Facebook groups is have a website. And a lot of guys are like, oh, I've got a website, but I'm not getting leads. Correct. because you have the website, but you actually have to bring traffic to that website. And then when they land on that website, they have to convert that dropping onto that website into a phone call. And that is a lead. And that's how you get your CPL, which is your cost per lead, right? So how much does it cost you to drive traffic to your website, right? Then from there, you've got your CPA, because just because it's a phone call, it doesn't mean you have converted the job. So then you got your CPA, which is your cost per acquisition. How much does it actually cost you to acquire a customer, right? And then from there, you've got your conversion rates, which is sales. And you might be like, oh, but I'll be able to convert. Like everyone thinks they're really good at sales until they until they get sales trained. And what I wanted to say on that is, like, would you send your tradesman to convert a job on your behalf right now? The answer is probably no. So if you wouldn't send your tradesman, why are you so confident that you're going to be sending yourself if you haven't been trained on how to close customers? You're running service calls each and every day, and you're not willing to sort of see exactly how the pros do it. That's the thing that sort of makes me sort of laugh. So guys, it's super important to make sure that your pricing and your closing and your sales techniques are on point before you you take that leap, right, into lead gen. Now, on that note as well, so we've gone through, you should have a website, you should have you should be in part of Facebook communities, things of that nature. Also, another one is, look, Google itself is a beast in itself. If we just say that, look, a lot of people go straight to Google and go, Google, well, all customers are on Google, and Google this, and Google's God, and Google's the greatest thing when it comes to marketing. Now, yes and no. Google, is it very powerful? Absolutely. Do a lot of people go on there? Absolutely. Is it the best? I don't know. The data would probably suggest otherwise, right? Just because it's the most powerful doesn't mean it's the best ROI. Doesn't mean it's the best return on investment, right? And what I mean by that, does that mean not to use Google? No. Does that mean to use Google? No. It means depending on where you're at in business determines how you should market, right? So if you're just starting out, guys, to put it short, and you don't have the budget for, say, Google AdWords, or, you might hear a lot of people saying, oh, I'll get you the number one spot in SEO. Public service announcement. If you don't have at least $2,000 to $3,000 a month of free cash flow, right? I know some of you might be like, who's got $2,000 to $3,000 a month of free cash flow? A lot of people. But if you don't have that, don't even consider doing SEO. SEO is a very long-term strategy, right? If someone says he's going to get you to the number one spot in 6 months, is it possible? Yes. Is it likely? Very unlikely. That's just the reality, right? Does it happen? Absolutely. And that's coming from someone that has spent millions of dollars on marketing their electrical business. And I've actually got over 100 number one top ranking spots on Google in SEO, right? So that's from experience, right? Not from arrogance, but from experience. So I always say this: SEO should be the last thing you do on your list, right? Because SEO is very long term, and you need the leads now, right? So if you want the leads now, you got to get the leads now. So I wouldn't be doing that. So I wouldn't be looking at PPC either. So what I'd be looking at is things like free Facebook groups, free GMB. So everyone should have your free Google listing, right? You should then have a website, and a capability statement is super important, particularly if you're going after B2B account customers. Super important to have a capability statement. And where people go wrong with capability statements is they try to market to everybody. Remember, focus on who you want to, work with each and every day, and build your capability statement around that. Another one that I will say is third-party platforms. Okay, this is going to get a lot of heat right now, because a lot of people are going to be like, High Pages sucks. If you're overseas, that's your Yelp, Angie's List, Craigslist, Yellow Pages, things of that nature. I'll say this about High Pages. If you think High Pages is a waste of money, is it? Is it not? I'll slow it down. Well, if you know how to sell, if you know how to close customers, High Pages, there is money to be made. We did make an extra 10K in 30 days with our members last month. we did the high pages challenge, and with very little effort, we increased our sales by $30,000 for the month just from high pages. So we beat that 10K in 30 days challenge. We 3X that, right? And that was with me coming from, 2 weeks completely off as well, because I just had my wife just had a kid. So, a baby girl. So that was with 2 weeks off. We still increased our sales by $30,000 from high pages. And no, high pages, again, when there's levels to this. So, if you're very established and stuff like that, of course, there are better strategies than high pages. But I'm just saying, does high pages work? Absolutely. If it's not working for you, that's because you don't know how to close the customers and you don't know how to sell. And I know you're going to hate to hear that, but that's just the reality. You've got to be able to price properly. And I'll say it like this as well. If you're charging $100 an hour or $120 an hour, unfortunately, you will never have the budget to be able to market on platforms like Google and things like that. Okay. I know at the moment you might be thinking, oh, but those big companies that are marketing on Google are ripoffs and they're a ripoff company. Okay. Once you actually, and look, I'm sure there will be some. The percentage of those ripoff companies that everyone so-called speaks about, I honestly think it would be less than 1% of the companies out there. I think 99% of Sparkies out there are doing the right thing. And I think it's just less than 1% that unfortunately leave a bad name for everyone else. So when you really look at what the true cost of running a business is, I can guarantee you, when you look at the true cost, if you're charging $100 an hour, you're going to stop that pretty quick smart, because you won't be able to build a business on $100 an hour. That's just the reality. Staff costs money, everything's increasing. And the crazy thing is, from talking to Sparkies each and every day, the amount of electricians that are charging less than I was charging 10 years ago is ludicrous. Absolutely ludicrous. Like, guys, $100 an hour does not work in 2025. $60 a downlight does not work. $100 for a general purpose outlet does not work. If the builder is dictating the rates to you, you're going to have a very, very difficult time in business. That's just the reality. You must understand exactly how much you can sell it for, because there might be times where you need to trim the price or negotiate or see exactly how much you can realistically go in at to win the job. But it's never going to be $100 an hour, I'll tell you that much. So guys, when you're looking for sort of easy lead gen strategies to do right now, the cheapest and easiest ways I would say is, step one, I would say, is make a Facebook page and an Instagram page, publish your your services in local Facebook groups. Step two would be your capability statement. Step three would be your free Google listing, your GMB. Don't even think about pay-per-click or SEO until you do training. Then I would say high pages. And the reason I'd say high pages is because you're not ready. And I know you're going to hate to hear this, but you're probably not ready for the more advanced strategies that really gets the phone cranking. And where sort of mentorship and coaching sort of comes in at this is, if you're trying to weigh up the options between, should I allocate money towards Facebook, letterbox drop, newspapers, pay-per-click, SEO, LSA, all of these things, well, we can actually show you the real-time data on what works straight away. So you're not wasting your money on, I'm going to check this out. Too often I hear people say, oh, I'm going to spend $1,000 on Facebook and see how I go. Wrong. You got to have a plan, right? I'm going to spend X amount. I expect to get X amount of leads from that. And this is the expected ROI, return on investment, right? If your lead gen isn't at least paying you a 5X, which is 5 times your investment. So if you put in $1,000 and you're not returning back 5,000, then there's a good chance that you've either got you may have a sales issue if it's not returning you 5X. Right. And if it's returning you consistently less than 5X, then it could be a marketing issue. And that's when you got to probably change your strategy up. But what we do is I wasn't even going to mention this, but now that I've just going on top of the dome, I'll mention it. Guys, we have in-house marketing here at Sparky Sales Systems. Okay. We are a coaching and mentoring program on the front foot. Absolutely. But we have NDL in-house who does marketing services. Now, what I will say with that is, And you're probably thinking, but Spiro, why didn't you let people know about this like sooner? And the reason for that is we refuse to take people on for marketing services unless they've been through our program. Because if you don't know how to price properly, if you don't, I don't know, everyone thinks they know how to price properly because they're like, oh, but customers won't pay more. They won't pay more to you with your current strategies. But with the right sales techniques, closing techniques, and of course, pricing, they will. So yeah, we have made that conscious decision that we only allocate our marketing people to our members because we want to make sure that people are succeeding. And a lot of the time, like I said, 99% of the time, it's not a marketing issue. It's actually a business issue and a foundations issue, and they don't have the right systems, which is the case a lot of the time. So you must understand how much does it cost to run a business. So guys, I hope that helped. So you have a few things there to sort of get started. In terms of, probably won't have time now on this podcast, but we can definitely go into we do definitely go into with our community like exactly what to put if you're doing Facebook marketing and things like that, what works, what doesn't work. So you're not testing the waters. We don't want people testing the waters. We want people bolting the systems into their business straight away. You guys are the bosses at the end of the day. So then you can just, put as much of the system and incorporate it into your business as you see fit. And then you can grow and scale. So guys, in conclusion, never feel too, never feel above advertising. Like I said, I've spent millions of dollars on marketing my electrical business, and it has always paid back the highest ROI. I run a same day service, and I'm not running any Google ads. So that's kind of some food for thought for you. So if I'm running a same day service, a 7-figure electrical business, that's a same day service, and I'm getting predictable leads, sales, and profits each and every day, I'm not running any Google ads, what am I doing? It's like one of those things. But, we want to make sure that you have you're tracking it all as well, because we want to make sure that we have decisions based off data, and marketing is not scary. Once you learn the ways of marketing, you learn the systems around it, guys, you pull the trigger and you run with it, because you don't build a business based off feeling. You build a business based on data. So guys, that is what I would do to get you guys started on your lead generation journey. If you have any questions, we do have the link in the bio below with a bit more information on exactly how you can actually hit, predictable lead, sales, and profits each and every day. And that's that. So guys, appreciate you guys listening in, and I'll catch you on the next pod. Cheers.